Good evening. I would like to call to order the October 7th Lake Washington School Board meeting. Please let the record reflect that all board members are present. To begin, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the October 7th agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director La Liberty and seconded by Director Carlson to approve the agenda. All those in favor, please signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. And so we will begin tonight with public comment. I have two people signed up this evening. As you know, at each meeting, we provide the opportunity for the public to comment. And this is a time reserved during our working meeting for the board to hear from the public. Please note that the public comment is not a question and answer session with the board, but please provide any materials you have to Diane Jenkins, and we can make sure that the board does get those. Each speaker is provided up to 3 minutes to speak in order to ensure that we hear from a variety of people. Individuals cannot share or donate time to others. When your name is called, please approach the podium, speak into the microphone, and giving your name and school attendance area for the record. You will see a stoplight system to the left of Director Sage there. And when a yellow light happens, you have 1 minute, and when it's red, please just wrap up at that point. It's important for all community members to feel welcome and safe during the board's business meeting, and we do not take public comment on issues related to personnel. So the first person signed up this evening to address the board is Lilia Tristan. So please come forward. Sure, you can both come forward together. And Diana Padilla, if you could both just state your names.
Okay, thank you. Will you tell me when to start, or?
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm a little bit
My
nervous,
mistake.
guys, sorry.
No, go ahead.
All right, my name is Diana Padilla, and this is Lillian Tristan. Our children attend Timberline Middle School, located in Redmond Ridge. Today, our goal is to gain school board support on getting safe and suitable transportation for our students of the Redmond Ridge apartment community and the surrounding homes. It's a new community up there of about 156 apartments, and mostly there's a lot of kids there. We are requesting approval of a bus to be provided for these students. We submitted our petition twice, and it has been denied twice by the school district transportation manager based on the school district guidelines. As a community, we have decided to move forward by taking the next step in the process, and that's why we are here, in order to achieve our goal. Our community strongly disagrees to the decision made by the school district manager. The school transportation website states that elementary students can walk up to 1 mile, middle and high school students can walk up to 2 miles. However, it also states, and I quote, "Unless the district has reviewed walk routes and determined no safe walk routes are available." We believe these guidelines are not applicable to our community because the safety of our children is highly at risk due to the following. Distance. There's 3 ways to school. The shortest distance is 1.6 miles to get to school from our community. This requires the students to go through 2 different trails. We consider this walkway extremely unsafe since there's no marked crosswalks established between these 2 trails, and Leela has some pictures here that we went around ourselves to take a look at. There's no crosswalks between them from crossing from one trail to the other. So certainly as you can understand, that puts students at risk of getting ran over. Some students are not mentally capable to have a certain amount of safety for themselves. The other reason is wildlife. There has been numerous wildlife sightings reports around these 2 trails. Students themselves have reported encounters with bears and bobcats. Therefore, only having 2 other walking options. Option 1 is a walking distance average of 2 miles within a walking time of 35 to 40 minutes. And the option 2 is a walking distance average of 2.1 miles with a walking time of 35 to 45 minutes. Having that in mind, we consider both walking pathways very unreasonable for our students. Another reason is sex offenders. Within a 2-mile radius of Timberline Middle School, there is a total of 3 registered sex offenders. One of them is being a level 3 offender. And obviously the weather, I think we all know what the weather is like, and it's pretty much here already. Cold, pouring rain, and freezing temperatures to come make it hazardous to the children when walking, riding a bike. Having children walk 2 miles under treacherous conditions could affect the child's willingness to attend school. And the other one is the weight of backpacks. The average weight of a backpack middle school age is 18.4 pounds, although some backpacks can weigh as much as 30 pounds, not to mention some students need to carry their instruments back and forth as well. The Redmond Rich apartment community and its surrounding homes believe that such circumstances do require exceptions to the guidelines established by the school district. In addition, we believe that this would also be beneficial and a great way to reduce traffic. Please, we strongly request the school district to find available resources to be able to provide safe and suitable transportation for our students of Timberlane Middle School. We don't want to wait until somebody gets hurt. We ask that you bless them, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for coming
Thank
and
you.
sharing that. My understanding is that this is being looked into and has been discussed, and you'll continue to reach out and take care of that. Okay, thank you. So thank you. And so with that, we are going to now have the host school here. We have Einstein, who is here this evening, and so that was both of our speakers. And so with that, if you would like to do the introduction, that would be great.
I would love to. Raise a hand if you are here tonight from Einstein Elementary. Way to go. Ooh, give them a hand. Yeah, way to represent. I'm going to ask their principal, Robin and I, to step up and give us an introduction. And before she speaks, actually, we will run our first host school video of the school year. So we'll start that first, and then Robin, you're up after that. We're starting the year off with our first host school here at Albert Einstein Elementary. And Albert has joined us today to say a few words about the students and the start to the school year. Albert, was it a good, smooth start to the school year?
With the important part of education and enlightenment.
We are just excited to be in our second year with our students after this reboundary and kind of getting used to having two new programs here. We have both the dual language program, the Quest program, and our wonderful, amazing general education students. Having a second year, getting to know each other and really building that sense of community.
Hi, yeah, we're trying to make some kind of ecosystem.
Are you going to remove the lid very often?
The lid actually has air holes,
Right.
and it's see-through, so you can get leaves.
Right.
So we need leaf litter too.
Yep. Because what does that do?
The leaf litter? I think
Yeah.
it covers it up. Yeah.
Actually, we do a lot of work on establishing the classroom environment and the culture of kind of, this is how we do things, not because we're supposed to, but this is what we want to do. We all want to feel respected. We all want to feel safe. And being able to build that community with your students is something that you don't always get anywhere else. And especially here, that sense of community. Again, it's why I'm kind of here. It's a special place.
And how do you get the coveted tribe of the day?
So we get it by behaving well, and all of our tribe has to be doing stuff together and working together to make our table look good and be better, and maybe not be better, but go above and beyond.
Do your best. We are also in year 2 of your dual language program.
Well, we see really an increase in both their social language and ability to speak in Spanish, but also their reading skills, their writing skills in Spanish are really coming along, and you just see a lot more confidence in our students who are in their second year.
Muy bien.
I've heard just really incredible positive feedback from parents about how their students love to come to school. They love learning both in Spanish and in English, and that they're just really happy to have their students a part of our program.
Hello, I'm Lily,
And this is my friend Kelso. Hi, Kelso.
Hi, Lily.
Kelso, why are you in Mr. Wren's office?
Well, Lily, that is a great question. Let me tell you. I am in Mr. Wren's office because I help many children with problem solving. I come in, and I'll start coming in October and doing social emotional learning lessons with all the kids. We talk about empathy, compassion, how we can calm down, and problem solving skills.
What do you like to do on the playground the most?
I like to play hide and seek with my friends.
Oh, very nice.
We're trying to make a tunnel because there's still someone else over there and make a giant tunnel.
Yeah? So you've got a tunnel going there, and what would travel in your tunnel?
I don't know.
Like miners.
Miners might travel in your tunnel? The section marked 100 is the one you'd look through to find a book that tells us why we act the way we do.
And we learned about who Melville Dewey was, and now how do we find books in the library with his system?
How many of you love to go to the library? Raise your hand. Oh, you are so lucky that you have this library full of books.
We are all part of Einstein. Thank you so much to the school board for inviting us here today. My name is Robin Imai, and I am the principal at Einstein Elementary School. Here with me today is our associate principal, Abby Baumgartner, and 4 of our students, Keto, Sochi, Logan, and Nathaniel. I am so excited to tell you about our amazing students and staff and community. We share our mission and vision with our school district, although this year we are really working to refine and clarify our vision to reflect our school. He can tell you all about how much money was spent on the different projects. He has calculated it all. Albert Einstein by the numbers. We opened in 1998, and actually this right here is how one of our students proposed the name of our school. We currently have 427 students. For about 20 years, we were a Title I school, although with the reboundary last year, we are no longer a Title I school. We currently have 3 dual language classes, 5 full-time Quest classes, 12 general education classes. There are 36 languages spoken at our school. 19.8% of our students are considered English language learners, 19% are considered low income, and 11.3% are considered to be students with disabilities.
Hello, my name is Kirill, and I'm in Mr. Knott's 4th grade class at Albert Einstein Elementary. Einstein has friendly kids and good quality education. That's a plus. When I first came to Einstein, I wasn't bullied and everybody was friendly. I feel we all have equal rights. And can participate in anything we want. We are encouraged to be ourselves, but we also can learn how to work together. Einstein has great teachers and kids. Einstein is a great school.
Thank you, Kittle. So I am actually really excited to share with you our assessment data. As you can see, these are our SBA scores for the past 5 years. We are so proud to say that we have seen increases in both English and math. Currently, our students in the past year on our state science assessment scored 88.9%. And we've also seen an increase in students' attendance at school. This is 2014 through 2018. So one of the ways that we have really worked together to focus on student learning and student achievement is to use a cycle of inquiry. We look at data and analyze it. We choose an area of focus, we implement and support that focus, and then we analyze the impact and the results. So about 5 years ago, this was our assessment data, and what we really found was that our proficiency levels really weren't where we wanted them to be, and that we had an achievement and opportunity gap for some of our students. As a result, we brought in a group called the CORE, Consortium on Reading Excellence and Education Group. They helped us to really hone in and focus in on some common language and common practices. So things like making sure that we had leveled reading groups, that we were teaching students to read at their level, in addition to whole group reading, and with focuses that are tied to a common core state standards. We also found that we had an achievement gap, so we trained the whole school on SciUp practices about 4 years ago. And we also introduced the dual language program. And these were our results.
My name is Sochi, and I'm in Miss Sharp's 4th grade class at Einstein Elementary. Einstein is a safe school for several reasons. When I first came to Einstein, I saw lots of adults outside watching over the kids to make sure they felt safe. They took time to teach all the kids about the rules for all the Einstein places around the school. The teachers and other staff made sure we were following the rules all year long. We are rewarded with Art of Pride tickets for being responsible, respectful, and safe. We also practice drills, so we know what to do when there is something like a fire. I'm glad Einstein is a safe school that everybody feels safe.
All right, at Einstein, when we took a look at the social-emotional health of our building, we followed a similar process, our cycle of inquiry. We looked at our data, analyzed our data, found an area of focus, implemented and supported that area of focus, and then analyzed the impact we had through that implementation and support. So when the team took a look at our data, we realized that our office referrals were not where we wanted them to be. And we wanted to do something about that and improve the positive behaviors of our students. And so this became one of our SIP goals, to improve or decrease our office referral numbers. Some of the ways that we did that at our school, the first thing we did was we initiated the implementation of PBIS, our positive behavior implementation and support. And that meant that we had common expectations, school-wide expectations for all of our students that our teachers taught explicitly, and then we support and review as needed to make sure all of our students can reach those expectations. As you can see in our first photo, we have one of our teachers reviewing a hallway expectation poster with her students. Our counselor is a big piece of this work, and you saw in our video Mr. Wren. He is a big piece of this work, and we're proud to say that he teaches all of the second step lessons to our students. Every student in the building gets that education. And we also explicitly teach our students problem-solving behaviors through our Kelso's Choice and also our STEPS acronym. So our students have access to learning and support while they're developing their problem-solving skills. All of our teachers also start their day with their morning meetings. This allows for classrooms and their students to develop a community, but also a community of problem solvers so that they work together in these problem-solving strategies and problem solvings for any behaviors throughout the school. Then we took a look at the impact we had over the last 4 years. You can see we had a great impact, and our office referrals are down significantly from where they were 4 years ago.
My name is Logan, and I'm in Miss Hallam's class at Einstein Elementary School. What makes Einstein fun is you learn what to do and what not to do in the beginning of the school year so you don't get yelled at when you're in recess or in class. Safety patrol is fun because you get to be a leader in school. Recess is fun because it gives you a break from school and you can talk to your friends. Student council is fun because you get to make spirit days and be on the morning announcements. Learning is fun because the teachers care about your grades. They will help you and practice with you until you get good at what you're learning.
And the final cycle of inquiry that we were going to present today is this idea of building a community. This is something that I really feel makes Einstein special. And the year before last, the schools were reboundaried, and last year we invited some new students to our school, and we said goodbye to some wonderful students as well. We really kind of looked to each other and said, how can we help build this feeling of community? Because we were also inviting new programs, including the dual language program and the Quest program, and we really want to bring home to students this idea that we are Einstein, that we might have different needs and different programs, but we are all Einstein students first, and there are a couple of ways that we did that. One of them is that we have Pep Assemblies, which is a time when we come together as a whole school to celebrate our achievements and successes. Another way is through our community library nights run by our fabulous librarian. She invites families in the community into our library in the evening, and they participate in all kinds of fun events, including a book tasting where students can sample different books in different genres. Also, there was a night last year where a wizard came to the Einstein Library, and there was also a visit from an insect expert who came and brought his insects. Another way that we welcome the community into our school is through watchdogs, where dads and other positive male role models come into the school. They spend a day with our students, they get to know our school, and our school and students get to benefit from meeting them.
My name is Nathaniel, and I'm in Miss Hallam's 5th grade class. At Einstein Elementary, Dr. Martin Luther King is someone I admire and believe had a big influence on this community and the world. I believe the students at Einstein make a difference within our school community and can also change the world. We all work as a team and cooperate well. Each of us are unique and we work together. We have monthly Pep Assemblies to celebrate all the students and what we participated in each month. We work together in other activities such as Green Team, Safety Patrol, and Battle of the Books. The best part about being a part of the Einstein community is that we are encouraged to be ourselves and no one else.
So thank you so much to the Lake Washington School Board for welcoming us today. We are so proud to share a little bit of our school, and we are just so proud to be Einstein. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was fabulous. And thank you to the students for coming and sharing your experience at Einstein. That's really exciting to hear directly from those who are in the school. So thank you for taking the time tonight and doing so and sharing that. And for all the fabulous artwork that now decorates the boardroom for the next month. So thank you very much for doing all of that for you. And with that, please feel free. We will continue with our meeting. We know you might have things that you need to do. So please feel free to leave at this time, or you are welcome to stay as well. But just wanted to give you that opportunity. But thank you all. I know. So as we are still on camera, we're currently just making sure that the documentation is clear from the public comment, and we'll be able to have access to that. So that is what's happening. So we'll be back on probably about 1 minute as we go. So hopefully you got to learn a little something about Einstein. The dual language immersion program there is new in the last 2 years, so it's great to be having it. Spanish, so we now have K1-2. That'll be expanding out 1 grade each year out at Einstein, so that's an exciting opportunity. And with that, we are going to eventually move on to the consent agenda.
So I just have one follow-on question around
Go ahead.
Einstein. I didn't realize that they had been boundaried out of being a title school, and I'm very interested in making sure that we get some sort of an update on the performance of the low-income kids now that they're not getting the title. The national supplements. Sorry, now that Einstein is not a Title I school, I didn't realize they'd been boundaried out of that. And with that transition, I just want to make sure that they still have a meaningful number of low-income kids. I just want to, at some point, get an update on how those kids are doing at schools that become not Title I, even though they still have a significant low-income in the population. So, thanks.
Okay. So now that we have everybody back at the table, we will start with the next item is the consent agenda. So I will now entertain a motion to approve.
Move approval.
Second.
Been moved by Director Carlson and seconded by Director Liberty to approve the consent agenda. Dr. Stabel, will you please poll the board?
Director Sage.
Yes.
Director Liberty.
Yes.
Director Stewart.
Yes.
President Bleasner.
Yes.
Director Carlson.
Yes.
And Dr. Stabel, could you please summarize the donations that were approved on that consent agenda?
I can do that.
Thank you.
This month we have a donation from the PTSA in the amount of $40,846.60. And from private sources, we have donations in the amount of $41,152.31 for a grand total of donations this month in the amount of $81,998.91 of very generous donations to our district.
So yes, thanks very much to our district, to our PTSA, and all the other organizations that help to support our students. So now with that, we move on to our non-consent agenda, which we do not have any items at this point in time, so we will shift to the legislative update. So Director Liberty.
Good evening. So 2 Thursdays ago, I had the opportunity to attend the Legislative Assembly, the Washington State School Directors Association Legislative Assembly. Director Bleasner was there as well, and we represented the district. Of the 17 priority items that we came with, ranked all 17 were passed by the Assembly, and then we submitted our rankings. One of our top priorities, which will be on our platform, that is on the proposed platform to adopt, was to fully fund the school employees' benefits and pensions program. That was the top priority that made it out of the School Director Association assembly. So that was an area of significant amount of conversation at the assembly. I think every district recognizes the significant impact that it's going to have on providing programs for students. And so it was a top priority. One item that was a priority for our district but was not for other districts is, well, a number of items. Anything dealing with school construction did not make the top priorities coming out of the assembly, which was surprising, as that was a priority last year for a number of districts. And my experience is that not much has changed dramatically for the other districts, but maybe it has. But at any rate, for whatever reason, that was not a priority for the assembly this year. So we should expect that we will have to be a loud voice and advocate for that, as it was not as much of a priority for other districts. And even if it does not end up being something that moves in the assembly this year, I think it's important that we keep it on the minds of our elected officials that this is a significant issue for our district. So that's just something to think about. So let's see here. There's one other item. Any questions? I suppose for those listening, we normally have an opportunity to discuss this during our study session. We have a number of items run long today, so I would actually like to open it up if there are any board members who have any questions about what took place at the Legislative Assembly.
Don't miss my life. Eric, just not a question really, but just perhaps a talking point that as we go forward with our legislative agenda to the folks in Olympia, and we're looking at the issue of funding for special ed. Mm-hmm. Washington State caps their special ed funds at 13.5% of the district population, but according to the CDC, 1 in 6 children, or 17.8%, have developmental disabilities, and I would wager that ours is a little bit even higher than that. So I think that's a talking point that we need to hammer home, that they are basically using antiquated stats to take care of the children in this state.
Mark, I'm glad you raised that, because I neglected to mention that did make the top 10 priorities for the special education funding. It came in at number 5 for the statewide assembly. So I think that what you can glean from that is there is a lot of support statewide for fixing some of the issues, and that other districts are suffering from the same issues that we are.
I'm sorry, you said did or did not?
It did.
It did. I thought
number
so.
5
I want to double check. We've got an echo in here. Yeah.
Was special education funding and special needs students. So, so that does seem to be a priority for other districts. So I think, and here we are now. So now up on the screen, and for those watching at home, this is the proposed legislative platform, and for board members, that's in our packet for this week at page.
I appreciate it of your slide deck.
Well, I didn't do it, so thank you. I'll take the compliment, though. So this is the board, fellow board members. We did have this presented at a study session recently. The format has changed slightly from what you last saw, and some of the content, and we've tried to keep it to a page. But this is the proposed platform for our district for the upcoming session. We'll be using this when we meet with our legislators to educate them on what is important for our district and the student in our district. So I suppose question for Siri as our sort of parliamentarian. Are we able to move to adopt this tonight now that's in the platform? Okay, great. So I would, unless there are any questions, and then I would also entertain a motion to adopt it as the platform.
You're never going to get Robert's rules. First you move and then we discuss, right?
I don't care.
I will now entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Carlson and seconded by Director Stewart to approve the legislative platform as presented. Is there any discussion?
There we go.
Director Sage.
I have a question. I may have missed this. Last meeting, we had a family tragedy, and I was not able to be here, but do we have the top 10 WASDA? Did I miss that somewhere? I'm sure you emailed it to me.
It was just recently emailed out of the top 15, and I believe that they have sent that.
Yes.
If not, we can forward that on to make sure everybody has those top 15, and they'll be publishing it onto their website as well under legislative update, but we can make sure that gets sent out.
I can find that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a trifle disappointing that construction funding didn't make the state list, but we have local issues and we've got global issues. I'm very pleased to see that everybody statewide appreciates, although it's terribly dry, the importance of solving SEP. So this is going to be a huge issue monetarily for districts around the state. It's one of the last pieces, well, one of the big pieces of letting the dust settle around in Cleary. And I'm glad to see that we're pushing it from WASDA. But locally, I am very enthusiastic about our proposal. The modified presentation, the fact that we took numbers off of it, it's not rank ordered. These are the things that are important to us at the moment. They're the critical things this year. So as far as an elevator speech, when I've got a legislator cornered, this is perfect. Thank you.
The other piece that came out at the Ledge Assembly was around the prototypical school model and doing staffing enrichment. So there's a work group actually working on staffing enrichment of looking at the social emotional learning component. So schools, counselors, nurses, psychologists, because that prototypical model is not funding at the level for what's actually being funded in the schools, so that there's a lot of local levy dollars going into that. So there are work groups occurring, and that actually came up as one of those top 15 priorities that came through. We sort of build it in under the strategic plan connection well-being. I think that's where you would see that concept of coming through. But that's a big issue also with OSPI is speaking to that as well as part of their platform. And it's pretty strong with WASDA, social emotional learning and safety and the extra support services we provide our students are definitely a priority felt throughout the state and was a clear spoken to message coming forward.
One last update on the Assembly. One of the, probably the largest area of debate was over whether WASDA should adopt a policy position calling for the legislature to, I think I would phrase this correctly. Director Bleasner, if I don't quite get it right, if you could help me out. Calling for the legislature to adopt legislation that would provide for statewide bargaining for teacher salaries. So there was a pretty clear division, I think, between, it's fair to say, between large schools and small schools in that respect. So that was not adopted as part of WASDA's platform, but it was close, I would say. In fact, had it not been for a weighted vote, it would have been adopted. So that's just something to I think to watch for in this upcoming session, as I expect that some of the smaller schools will be asking their legislators to look at that, and it's important that we track the bills related to that and understand our positions on those.
And so part of that discussion that came through that, it actually got tabled and sent back to committee. So it's going back to the legislative committee who are going to do further work to look at how do you really, the bargaining that has taken place has been challenging in different places. And so there was just a lot of feelings of different districts of how do we better address this more effectively. And so the Ledge Committee is going to look through what opportunities, what's the best sort of position for WASDA to take, and that should come back next year to the Assembly.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So with this, we'll also be getting, I know that staff is putting together sort of like Washington's experience under these things. So what are we spending on special education that's above and beyond basic education? What are sort of our ratios that we currently have under different things? So that information will also be coming for us to have to be able to hold those conversations. So any other questions or concerns about our legislative platform? Are we good that this is good for the next session?
Not a concern. It's just if people do go on and look at the WASDA priorities, they call out number 3 as comprehensive school safety. I am very pleased that within our legislative platform, our perspective on that is that it falls underneath social emotional learning. It's appropriate in the scale, it's preventive. I'm much happier to be spending a lot of time and energy on that than on trying to make buildings bulletproof. So, thanks.
Agreed.
Okay, so seeing no further discussion on the legislative platform, I'd like to call for the vote. All those in favor of adopting the legislative platform as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none opposed, then motion carries. We have our legislative platform going through. Excellent, thank you. So, Director LaLiberty, what would be the next steps that we have going forward?
We are organizing a meeting among other similarly situated local districts to discuss how we can work better together, as we have a lot of the same interests. In fact, what was really interesting at the assembly and having a chance to meet with some of the other district directors is how much we share in common with what our interests are for this upcoming session. And also there was the same perspective of feeling like we weren't, at least at the board level, weren't doing enough and weren't being as effective. So we have a meeting coming up on October the 30th. Do I have that correct? Thank you. Where we'll be discussing how we can better work together at the board level. I think am I leaving anything out here? Staff? No. Okay, great. So that is upcoming. If anyone else has ideas, different connections we can make, please share.
All right, well, thank you. No, that's great. Okay, so going forward, so we have our legislative platform, we'll go forward with the meeting, and then we'll be able to work directly with our legislators and being able to have these conversations. So thank you for all that work and getting that all together. Thank you to staff to putting that all together as well to make sure that we have sort of a clear stepping points of where to go. So now we move on to our superintendent report, and it's very exciting. I'm going to steal the thunder just a little bit. We have the Lake Washington Schools Foundation here tonight to speak to us, which is exciting. I believe they've been in existence for about 15 years. I had the honor of being a founding trustee of the Lake Washington Schools Foundation, so it is always exciting to hear what's going on and the extra support and partnership that our district has. So I'm going to turn that over for you to do further introduction.
Yes, it's been very nice to welcome Helen Cernett, our executive director, and we have already met together a number of times, and she has been busily getting around meeting with all of our different staff. And Helen, it looks like you might have some special guests with you tonight, so please feel free to introduce them. And Helen's going to give us an update on some of the work that she's been doing as they've been getting started on their year.
Thank you. It is on. Yay. Thank you so much, Dr. Stavum, and all of you on the board. I am really impressed by the service that you have given to our district and also to the support and the welcome that you've given to me. I have been so warmly welcomed into this district and this community, and I am incredibly grateful for that. As Dr. Stava mentioned, we have met several times, and she has been very generous with her support as I learn the lay of the land and as we forge our partnership moving forward in support of the Elevate strategic plan goals. I'm actually in the process of working with the members of Lake Washington Schools Foundation Board, program leaders, Dr. Stavum, of course, and her leadership team to draft the foundation's strategic plan, which will dovetail our goals to support the district's success-driven trajectory. I want to thank all of you here and the school board members, not just for your service, but for the kind welcome that I have received. Many of you have already shown your support to me in this position and to the foundation, especially Director Stewart, who has attended our meetings for the board meetings and serves as our liaison to this body. So thank you. Beyond that, the programs of the foundation range a lot in the service to the district's mission, from our Pantry Packs program, addressing food scarcity for over 800 district students. That program has seen its highest September demand So that's been a new and interesting, I guess, revelation for us to see that where things ended over the summer, having just piloted our summer feeding program and pantry packs program, we were able to see an increased demand, or we saw an increased demand coming this fall. So we're working to see what we can do to ensure we meet the needs of all of the students experiencing food scarcity in the district. We also have our Find Your Fit college application education program, and we've seen large wait lists for that and those seminars. So we're going to work on seeing how we can increase the frequency and enrich what is delivered from that program. And we have two very, very new programs, one called Balance in Mind and the other called Kids Coming Together. And both of those programs focus on social emotional learning and are beginning to make new offerings. Kids Coming Together is a program that is currently based on the plateau and is seeing kids from the high school level work and support kids of elementary and middle school level in working together to do community service. So it's a complex program, but we're seeing really good anecdotal evidence that this is helping children learn how to grow and create friendships, especially students that struggle with that or are new to our community. So in the spirit of welcoming, there's the Kids Coming Together program. And then the Balance in Mind program, which has debuted our It Is Real brochures. They're available on the Lake Washington Schools Foundation website. These brochures help to provide resources to parents and educators and those working directly with students in high school and in middle school with a guide to resources in the community that can help support students who might be having or working with friends who have emotional stress or some other distress in their lives, and to help give them access to an easy tool that catalogs the services that are available and some resources that are available. We're adapting that for Spanish language speakers and also for elementary parents and teachers and educators. And that's been distributed to parents in most of the main high schools and middle schools, and we're working to get it out further. We're also in the Balance in Mind program working on getting screenings of the movie Angst to all of our learning groups, our high schools and throughout the community, as well as some middle schools that are interested in doing screenings, and they will be showing that to help facilitate a conversation around what anxiety looks like for our students. I do want to say how honored I am to serve in this work and to be part of this community. My whole family has joined this community. My daughter is a new member of the Redmond Elementary School student body. She's here today, and as is my husband. So my daughter, Wade, and my husband, Matthew, to the Cernat family, thank you for supporting us in this whole family transition. And the other, so just, I guess that's the personal note, but finally I want to also note that there's a woman in the audience, Denise, who has been a huge support to the foundation as well, and has served on the PTSA council, and her work has been really opening to me, and she's been very supportive of me in this new role and helping me find my footing. So thank you. I feel very supported in this community, and I'm very excited to do this work to increase the support from the community, from our corporate neighbors, into our students' education and learning so that we can have an even more elevated result for all of our students. So thank you very much, and thanks for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. It's fabulous to have the foundation as a partner, and welcome and into your role, and it's exciting, and thank you also for being the liaison with the board. All very helpful. So Excellent. It's exciting to see what's coming forward, and Angst is a film well worth seeing if you haven't had the opportunity, so taking advantage of one of those screenings. Are you also supporting the mental health first aid training?
Yes, we are. Thank you for asking that question. Youth mental health first aid trainings are being supported. We've scheduled our next one. We've actually increased the number of educators that are trained to deliver that training. So we have a group of resources. Denise has been one of those trainers, and she's helped to acclimate that group of new trainers into what an actual classroom is like when you're the leader of it for that training, and we're starting our first one later this month.
Thank you. That's exciting.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
a great opportunity for the community to be directly involved in many ways of just being a first responder from the sense of in regards to mental health and being able to address those needs. So it appears Ms. Sage has something she'd like.
I have a quick question. I've seen the mental health first aid offered through the foundation, and I think it's an 8-hour session.
It is,
for the
yes.
training. Do you ever break it into 2 4-hour sessions?
Yes, we're working to see what is most effective and where it's most effective. It's also noted that we are not the only people in the community providing the youth mental health first aid. So we also are looking to make sure that it's catered to the extent that it can be to our community. It's a set curriculum, but it is, each class is different based on the people who attend, and so to that extent, there's some opportunity to have customization.
Okay, I completed the first 4 hours, but I'm going to go do the whole thing again to make sure I get it all at once.
There's so much information conveyed in each session, and I think anyone who goes through it once and then returns to it will learn more the second time around, coming to the material with new eyes.
Great, thank you.
It is a great opportunity for anybody if you get the chance. It's kind of like just basic first aid that we're well trained on through Red Cross and all of that, and this is just another step of how to listen, how to just catch sort of signs and symptoms. So it's kind of a very useful foundation for our community.
For
to
anyone
have.
who is in contact with students, their own students' friends, or through their positions professionally or as volunteers, it's a great opportunity to get yourself a little bit more prepared for what might happen when somebody says something that you weren't expecting them to say about their own mental health. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope we can have more sessions like these.
Absolutely.
One of the things that we've talked about is having Helen report in about once a quarter so that we can keep in good communication with our foundation. That being said, I think I would be remiss tonight during my report section if we didn't connect this work to the recent tragedies of the student deaths in our neighboring district in Issaquah. And we know that we are all part of the same community, and that this is continuing to be a problem not only here but across the nation and even in other parts of the world. And we know there are all kinds of variables that happen in people's lives, but we want to make sure that we are equipping and collaborating with all of the different ways that we can support our students. There is anxiety, there are concerns that students have, and sometimes they have all the right tools, sometimes they have some of them, and sometimes they need a lot of them, and we want to be able to facilitate that as well as with our families and our community members, because it's not just a school district issue, it's not just a community issue, it's not just law enforcement or health professionals, it's all of us really joining forces to make sure that our students are cared for, because every life of a child is a precious life, and we have to do everything that we can so that our kids are happy and healthy and ready to be adults who can contribute to all of the things that their gifts and unique talents are going to be part of in this world. So we extend our deepest sympathies to the families and to Issaquah School District, and we truly want everybody to be part of the solution, Parents need to be talking to their kids. They need to have those conversations regularly, and we are working on some ways that we can continue to provide some events in some variety of ways for all varying types of supports that families may need, everything from prevention to awareness to treatments. So more to come on that, but everybody is working actively together.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay. So with that, we will end our meeting because we have finished our agenda. So our next board meeting is set for October 21st. It'll be the 5 p.m. study session, and then we'll have a 7 o'clock board meeting as well. And so with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Director Carlson and seconded by Director Liberty that we adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by voting aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Meeting is now adjourned.